Hi everyone, welcome to Veronika Hug. Today I'm going to show you how you can do a wonderful shawl or scarf or whatever you want to call it with a bobble cotton XXL. It has 1000 meters, so this is why it's called XXL, and it's 250 grams. So you can see it's pretty much the same thing as a regular bobble cotton, but this time it's much bigger. So everything else is the same, and it's just the size that we increased, and the color gradient of course is still in here. So you can of course do 2 bobbles if you'd like, 2 regular ones or 1 XXL one. So I'll show you in the photo what I'm gonna do today, and it's gonna be a shawl, so a little bit bigger piece than what we usually do. And you can see here it's called Model 7, but yeah, anyway, this is what it looks like from the back, and just another little presentation of how you can wear it and what it looks like. So it's really easy to work with, although it seems complicated. We start from the middle here. That's basically going to be on your back, so on the top of your back, around your neck, and that's where we start, and from there on we just expand. So otherwise I think we're ready to go. So I'm gonna just move this out of the way a little bit so that we have room and so that it looks nice for you to follow. And yeah, what I'm gonna do in this video is take a bobble cotton that I already did a project with, because I just want to show you the basics, but you're of course gonna need a whole one if you'd like to do this. So like I said, we're gonna begin in the back middle, and we're gonna do that by doing 4 chains. So first a slip knot, and then we're gonna chain 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Und dann sticht man wieder in die erste Luftmasche ein.
So 4 chains, and then we go into the first one, and we take the thread through and through both at the same time. So this way we get a really cute, nice little ring, and that's going to be our base to work off of. So let me mark the round so that you know, and then we're going to do 4 chains to replace the first double treble. And then 5 more trebles into the ring itself. That was 2. And 5. There we go. Then a chain here for the middle of the work. So you're gonna see later what we mean, but you can of course take one marker to mark the spot. But here we again want to do 5 trebles. I'm also taking my beginning thread with me so that I don't have to weave it in later. So if you've seen my other videos, then you know that I don't really like to weave in at the end. So if I can avoid it, I do. Okay, so after these trebles, we do a doubled treble, and we basically take the yarn over 2 times, and then we just do, just like we do with the treble, 2 times 2 times 2, and then we're done. The second row begins like, or round, however you want to call it. It begins again with 4 chains to replace the double treble. And then we're gonna do 2 trebles into this bottom treble that we see, and then 5 times a regular treble. So 1 treble per 1 treble that we see. 2, 5. So now I'm in the middle where my chain is, and here I'm gonna do 2 trebles, a chain, and again 2 trebles, all into the same spot. So this chain is again for the middle, this one here, and then we're again doing 2 trebles. After that, we're gonna do again 5 times 1 treble per one that we see on the bottom. And 5. There we go. And then here we have the 4 chains where we actually started, and now we again want to do 2 trebles here. So into the chain. That was 1 treble. We need another one. And after those 2, a doubled treble. And that way we're done with the second round or row, and you can see already how much it expands, and you're gonna kind of see the shape that we're later gonna have of our shawl. So the third round or row begins just like the ones before. We do 4 chains to replace the first double treble. Then we're gonna turn, and we're gonna do 1 treble into the doubled treble. Then a chain, and into the following treble we do another treble, then 1 chain. So when you do the 1 chain, you want to skip the next one on the bottom, and that's what we're gonna repeat. So we're gonna do a treble, a chain, skip 1, and then so here's the one we skip, and then the next one gets another treble, chain, and so on. Here into the last treble before the chains, we're going to do another treble, a chain. There we go. And then around this bottom chain, we're going to do a treble, a chain, and a treble, all into this chain on the bottom from the last row. When you do that, you do a chain, and then the next one right after the chain gets another treble, then a chain, and then we keep skipping. So we do the treble here, and then a chain, and then we skip this one on the bottom that you see here, and then you again basically continue 1 chain, 1 treble, or 1 treble, 1 chain, skip, 1 treble, 1 chain, skip. Into the last treble before the chains, again a treble, then we do another chain, and into the 4th chain here we're gonna do a treble, and then a doubled treble. And then we have our 3rd round done. So the 4th, we're again gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna do 4 chains. Then we're gonna, so after the 4 chains, that's to replace the double treble. Then we're gonna turn, and we're gonna go in with a doubled treble and 2 more trebles.
In das folgende Stäbchen auch ein Stäbchen.
Into the following treble, we're going to do another treble.
Nun folgen abwechselnd Luftmaschen.
And then we're going to have chains and trebles. So here we're going to go around each chain and do a treble, and then through each treble we see we're again going to do a treble. So basically every stitch here gets a treble. So you have this row where you relax and then the other ones where you think a little bit more. So when we get to the middle, let me just get to there. Okay, so here, around this chain in the middle, we're going to do 2 trebles, a chain, and again 2 trebles.
Also 2 Stäbchen, eine Luftmasche und nochmal 2 Stäbchen. Und dann auf das folgende Stäbchen wieder ein Stäbchen und dann wieder jede.
So always before and after this middle chain, we do a treble around those 2 trebles, and this is what we're doing right now as well.
Und auf jedes Stäbchen ein Stäbchen häkeln, so wie eben auf der anderen
And then we always do trebles for each chain and each treble that we see on the bottom.
Also nach der Mittelmasche geht es genau gespiegelt weiter bis zum Ende.
So after the middle, we're doing the same thing in reverse. Okay, so now we're here at the end. So into the 4th chain, we again do a treble. 2 actually, so 1 and then another one. And after that, just like before, a doubled treble.
Und dann ist die 4.
So now we're continuing again 4 chains to start with, so that's the 5th round. And now what we want to do is turn and then, so chain 4, turn, and then we're doing 2 trebles into the first treble that we have on here. And this one is also going to be very easy, so each treble that you see basically gets a new treble. So I'm going to show you the first 13 rows because that's all you're going to need for the entire scarf, and you can repeat that as many times as you would like or as many times as you can with the amount of yarn that you have. But yeah, I'm going to show you the first 13 and then you're already going to know how to deal with it. I'll also show you in one of the next videos, so in part 2, I'm going to show you how you can do the very tip in case you want to do that as well. But that is optional, so you can do and get a really wonderful shawl even without it. Okay, so I'm here in the middle, so where my chain is, and we're again doing 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles. Before we, or after that, we are actually going to continue in the same manner. Each treble that you see is going to get a new treble. If you would like to check out other projects, feel free to do so. I have tons on my channel with Tunisian crocheting or nooking, with crocheting, regular crocheting, and with knitting, of course. So if you'd like to see more, feel free to check that out. So when we again get to the chain, we're again doing 2 trebles and a double treble, just like so far. And now we're doing the next row. So you can see, I'll show you on the picture, we're actually coming closer to this striped part. So that's what we just did. And now we have the holy part, or a little bit lighter part. So that's what we're gonna do now. We did the stripe, and that's what you can see on here. And then we're just gonna continue with the one that's like a netted pattern, has a little bit more holes in there. So for that, we're actually gonna start the same way, just like we did so far. So we're gonna chain 4. That's again to replace the double treble, and then we're gonna turn. Then we're gonna skip 1 treble, so 1 on the bottom here that you can already see. And into the following treble, we're gonna do a treble, 2 chains, and a treble.
Dann übergeht man 3 Stäbchen, 1, 2, 3, und ins folgende Stäbchen häkelt man 2 Stäbchen.
Then you're gonna skip the next 3 trebles.
Eine Luftmasche und 2 Stäbchen. In das Stäbchen häkelt man 2 Stäbchen.
And then we're again doing 2 trebles, a chain, and 2 trebles. Skipping 3 again, and then 1 treble, 2 chains, and 1 treble. And then we're gonna keep repeating, so we skip 3 and then we do the 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles. So we're changing between those 2. So either 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles, or 1 treble, 2 chains, 1 treble.
Und ein Stäbchen.
Three chains before the middle, and now in the middle we're gonna do 3 trebles. 1 chain then, and then again 3 trebles. So all of that goes into the middle. And then 1 more chain and 2 more trebles. That all goes into the middle. Then we're again skipping 3, and then we're doing a treble, 2 chains, and a treble, and from there on we're gonna keep continuing the 2 that we did on the first side, on the right side. Almost done. We have 1 more and then we'll get to the end. a chain, and into the fourth chain we do a double treble.
Auch schon schön erkennen, dass das Muster jetzt wesentlich luftiger wird.
So this sixth row, you can notice how much easier or lighter the pattern gets, and that's exactly what we want. So in row 7, and that's what we're going to do next, we're again going to start with 4 chains to replace the double treble. So this stays the same throughout the entire project. Then when we turn, we want to do a double treble into the double treble that we have here.
Die 2 Luftmaschen, die zwischen den beiden Stäbchen sind. Hier kommen 2 Stäbchen. Behäkle ich die 2 Luftmaschen, die zwischen den beiden Stäbchen sind.
So then we're working onto the into the 2 chains between the trebles, and we're doing a treble, chain, and 2 trebles again.
Als nächstes behäkle ich die einzelne Luftmasche zwischen den 2 Stäbchen.
Then we're going to do the 1 single chain between the 2 trebles. So you can see it's kind of nested in here in between the 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. So 2 right, 2 left. We're going in the middle, and we're doing a treble and 1 chain and a 2 chains and a treble then.
Eine Luftmasche und 2 Stäbchen ran. Also das Muster wechselt.
And then we're continuing in the same manner, so it's always 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles, or 1 treble, 2 chains, 1 treble, and it's just like the last row.
Ein Stäbchen, 2 Luftmaschen und ein Stäbchen. Stäbchen gehäkelt, kommt jetzt ein Stäbchen.
Okay, so now that we're in the middle, we're gonna do a treble, 2 chains, and a treble.
2 Luftmaschen und ein Stäbchen gehäkelt.
Or actually, sorry, we're not in the middle, but I meant when you go in the middle, chain between the 2. So you always see what you had in the last row, and then you do the opposite of that. So when you had 2 trebles, you're going to do 1 treble, 2 chains on top, and the other way around.
So, jetzt bin ich hier bei der Mitte. Hier kommt die erste.
So you can see what it looks like later. Looks really neat and symmetrical.
Luftmasche der Vorreihe, ein Stäbchen.
So now around the chains in the middle, around the chain in the middle, we're doing a treble, 2 chains and a treble.
Dann eine Luftmasche und auf das mittlere der 3 Stäbchen hier auf.
Then a chain, and into the middle one of the 3 trebles that we did in the middle, we do 1 doubled treble.
Dann wieder eine Luftmasche und die folgende Luftmasche.
Then we do again another chain, and around this following stitch, so we're still in the middle, around this little chain that's on its own, we're gonna do a treble, 2 chains, and a treble. And then we're again on the other side, and we're basically doing the reverse, or actually the same what we did on the right side. So if we see 2 chains, we're doing 2 chains, 2 trebles, a chain, and 2 trebles. And if we see 1 chain, we're doing a treble, 2 chains, and a treble. So always the reverse of what you see on the bottom. So you see, after a couple of rows, it gets really simple, and you can basically do this in front of the TV. You just have to take a look from time to time at the bottom, but it's not a difficult project. In the end, we're going to do a chain, and into the 4th chain that we started with, we're again doing 2 trebles and a double treble. And And that's all that I wanted to show you for today's video, so that it's not too long. So rows 8 to 13 I'm going to show you in part 2.